From the very beginning, my life felt like a test I wasn't meant to pass. I was born into the Carter family. Richard, my father, Claire, my mother, and my older brother William. To everyone outside, we looked like the perfect family. Smiling Christmas photos, polite words at church, polite dinners with neighbors. But behind closed doors, there was no warmth for me. William was the golden child. He was showered with praise for every minor success, every small victory. If he drew a crooked house with crayons, my mother would proudly tape it to the fridge. If he stumbled through a school play, my father clapped like William had won an Oscar. And then there was me, Daniel, the invisible one. If I got good grades, they called it luck. If I failed, it became proof that I was worthless. I can still hear my father's cold voice. Why can't you be more like your brother? On my 10th birthday, I remember sitting at the kitchen table waiting for someone to wish me well. William got a new bicycle for his birthday, a cake, balloons, and gifts from the entire family. For me, nothing. My mother said she forgot the date. My father barely looked up from his newspaper. That was the day I understood. I was never going to be loved in that house. By the time I was 17, I couldn't take it anymore. One night, after yet another argument where my father told me I would never become anything important, I packed my backpack, slipped out of the house, and left. No one stopped me. No one asked me to stay. Those first few years alone were brutal. I slept on the floor of cheap apartments, worked late-night shifts washing dishes, and studied in libraries until they closed. Sometimes I didn't eat for a whole day, but every insult I carried from my childhood burned inside me like fuel. The rejection became my motivation. I promised myself, one day I would succeed so greatly that they would regret every word, every moment of cruelty. And slowly, painfully, I began to climb. At first, it was small freelance jobs, coding websites, selling secondhand electronics, fixing phones. But I had a vision and I had a grit. I reinvested every dollar I made into something bigger. I read every business book I can find, learned from failures, and refused to quit. Years passed and the world began to notice my name. Daniel Carter, the boy no one believed in, was suddenly the founder of a rising tech company. Investors started calling. Journalists wanted interviews. Clients lined up. My company grew from a tiny idea in my cramped apartment to a global brand. By the time I was 27, I had everything my family said I never achieved. A luxurious apartment overlooking the city, cars I once only saw in magazines, and most importantly, respect. People who once laughed at me now shook my hand with admiration. And then it happened. One evening as I returned home from a business trip, I saw them standing at the door, Richard, Claire, and William. My father wore a forced smile. My mother's eyes glistened with fake tears, and my brother avoided eye contact, his pride clearly shattered. Daniel, my mother whispered, her voice trembling with guilt she probably didn't even feel. We're so proud of you. We always knew you'd make it. I almost laughed. Always knew? I remembered every insult, every lonely birthday, every time they made me feel like a mistake. My father stepped forward, clearing his throat. We thought maybe we could start over. Families should stick together after all. Family. That word cut deep. Where was family when I was starving? Where was family when I needed love, support, and encouragement? They weren't family back then. They were strangers wearing the mask of family. I looked at them standing there, hoping to leech off the success they once swore I never have. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the broken child anymore. I was stronger than all of them. You betrayed me when I had nothing. Now that I have everything, I don't need you. My mother fell to her knees, begging. My father's pride cracked, and William muttered something about forgiveness. But I turned away. Because here's the truth. Family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by loyalty, love, and who stands by you when you're at your lowest. And they were never my family. That night, As the city lights glowed outside my window, I felt no regret, only freedom. For the first time in my life, I had chosen myself. And I will never forget the look on their faces the day they crawled back to the child they once abandoned.